Give it up for them one more time, man. Just grateful to have talented musicians and worship leaders that love God to be here with us on Friday night, 4:30. I've said it before. I mean, that is as good as you'll see anywhere. And the purpose of this is to lead us into worship. But when they are talented and anointed by God, it's a gift, right? I mean, I've been through treatment centers where the group facilitator is falling asleep in the group, okay? Not just the clients are falling asleep, but the stinking group facilitator is passing out in the actual group. So I'm just, I just, whenever you get things like this, I am grateful, I mean, there might be an element of me, selling, but what I am trying to do is bring your attention to know this is no ordinary experience. Okay, whenever you have people that care, and again, like all of our staff that's around here, some of them are here as a part of their responsibility. Some are here because they want to be, but what you have to understand is that this is strategically placed at Friday night, okay? It is my great privilege to be able to serve you. I don't want you to hear this any other way, that it is, you ought to be so grateful. I'm not trying to say that. My kids are playing flag football right now in this league, and there's stuff that I'd say, at some level minimal sacrifice, but it is specifically designed for you. You are going into the weekend. I remember what it was like in my first treatment center. I've been through 10 of them, okay? Friday night's approaching, and I'm thinking, man, what in the world are we supposed to do? There's less weekend staff in place to support. You're not going to be going to group. You're not going to be meeting with your therapist. You're not going to be meeting with your nurse practitioner. I mean, these are whenever things. So what we're trying to do right now, because you have hired us to save your life, is that we want to be able to bring the best that we know how to give on Friday night to empower you, to prepare you to go into the weekend, that you would show back up on Monday morning and that you were still sober, that you were still bought in, and that the things that you learned tonight, I want that to be relevant and practical. I'm not just 3 poems and a prayer, preacher up here. When I think about this stuff, I'm thinking about what would it have been like whenever I was 18 years old and I was sitting in my first treatment center? What kind of message did Trey Lewis need at 18 years old? What could have been said to me that would have had enough impact, or something that I could have hung on to, that maybe I could have gotten right in treatment center number 1 and not treatment center number 10? So I'm thinking about all that, right? Right before I came up here, I had one of our vice presidents tell me that we need some cultural tune-ups, an influx of new people that are coming in, new admissions. And so whenever we think about culture, what that means is that people like us do things like this, okay? People like us do things like this, okay? And so you have been out there in the streets, wherever, your little swimming tennis, whatever your little drug of choice was. Maybe you're a little wine drinking mom. Maybe you're a full-blown meth addict. Maybe you're a big-time fent dealer, that liked the product too much, and that went south. I don't know how you got here, but whatever was going on out there sucked really bad, okay? This ain't federal prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't no dang mafia kingpin coming in here with, 200 million sitting in your stinking walls, okay? Like, you have burned it to the ground. Most of y'all were talking to stuff that wasn't there. There wasn't nothing cool left about the lifestyle that you had. So can we please, for just a little bit, just stop pretending that we had life by the tail, okay? No offense. I know some of y'all are trying to pimp right now during my service, trying to see if I can get that girl. Look, I am telling you, whoever's looking at you right now, I would not trust them to come and cut your grass, okay? Much less try to go build a life with them, all right? So can we just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just all the pimping and, and sexual energy going across here. I am telling you, for the love of God, put up some blinders so that I can help you so that you can have something like that one day, okay? Right now is not the time to have, like, man, I was freaking used to run shit. Ever since I can remember, I used to run, you know. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you weren't running nothing before you came up in here, okay? Just, can I just have a minute to just that mindset that will keep you so sick, okay? This is not some kind of high-level social club. This is a mental health facility that's being paid for by your mental health benefits in your insurance policy, okay? So I want to be able to serve you, but what I will say at the same time is that you're not second class. And if you can stop the nonsense for a little bit and listen to what I have to say and run that play, it will create unbelievable opportunity. And there will be millionaires in this room, and there will be political leaders, and there will be doctors, and there will be nurses, and there will be business owners, and there will be dads that are present in their kids' lives, and there will be a life that you are proud of. But for a minute, you got to lay down the pride and all the nonsense and quit pretending that it wasn't as bad as it really was, because it was. And there ain't nothing cool about going to prison. You know, some of y'all are like, man, got 6, did 3, you know, run around talking about all this stuff like it's so cool. It ain't cool, okay? I don't know who needs to tell you that, but it ain't cool. It ain't cool that you got to check in with your probation. It ain't cool about what color you got this week, and if you got to go drug test, and that you're in drug court or whatever. I just need you to understand there is nothing cool about being inundated and locked into the criminal justice system. Okay? Nothing. Nothing. It ain't cool that you got to call your criminal defense attorney. It ain't cool that mama's money is paying for private counsel to get you out of something that could have been prevented. Okay? To burn up more of their resources that ought to go to your kid's college fund, but it's paying for private counsel to get you out of your 14th felony. Okay? If I tell you stuff about my past, it is to level the playing field so that you understand that I once used to be there. Not because I think it's awesome, not because, I'm proud of that. I tell that for your benefit to know that I've been there, done that. And if you want to get well, that it's going to take a great level of humility, and it's going to take you starting to hate the old life that got you up in here. And the sooner that you can do that, the sooner you will get well. Okay? The sooner that you can do that and get that grumpy, condescending look off your face and embrace a new way of life, God has given you a second chance or another chance on a silver platter. Okay? And so before you look for the 14 reasons of why you don't want to like this place or why you're different or why you're so offended or whatever it is, you need to switch that lens and be like, dude, I am grateful. This might not be where I thought I was going to be at this particular time in my life, but I am not getting ready to walk away from the gift that God has given me to put life and death in front of you once again on a silver platter, and that you're not getting this choice behind bars. You're not getting this choice in a straitjacket. That you are here in a nice place, in a life-giving place, and that he's coming back here and saying, I'm giving you 90 days to reinvent yourself. I'm giving you 90 days to see how you're going to spend it. You're going to complain your way through it. You're going to talk trash. You're going to tell all your stories back in 2003 when you had, more dope in your pocket than anybody could ever imagine, and telling us about your recipes and all. Look, we are here to get well. It's a hospital to get well. That's what it is. We go to great lengths to not make it feel like a hospital, because I don't think it would do you any favors if we had bleached white walls and we all ran around here in scrubs and, talked to you like you were just, like a psych patient or whatever. I don't think that would do any favors, but don't get it confused, twisted, whichever version you like, on what it is that we're doing here. I want you to get your families back. I want to see pictures on social media with you and your children being reunited. I want to see you at graduation. I want to see you at the marriage. You know? I want to see you writing checks. I want to see you being the lender and not the borrower. It's a good feeling. I want you to have the skills necessary to be able to build generational wealth, to leave a legacy of Jesus, to leave a legacy of being a man that you're proud of, that your son's going to be proud of, you know, and not making excuses, you know, for why dad is not here for the 18th millionth time. Come on. This is the invitation, you know, and you've got an incredible opportunity, but you've got to embrace a new culture. You know, I remember learning the drug culture, you know. I grew up. My dad partied some. I had the advantage of knowing how to hold a cigarette, you know. My dad smoked. My mom smoked. I learned how to hold a Marlboro Light. Knew how to do that. I remember getting a buzz off the Marlboro Light and doing that in my room so that whenever I did go out in public that I wouldn't like throw up or whatever, and I would, you know, smoke cigarettes and blow it out the window. And I had to embrace a new culture. I didn't know anything about triple beam scales. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of rap music that made it into my life. Vanilla Ice, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't like, you know, the biggest help to all of that. But I learned it. You know, I remember walking into a bar with a fake ID and not really, it's when you could smoke in a bar. I didn't really know how to lean against the thing and, you know, how to talk to older women. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn all this stuff. I didn't know anything about it, but I gave myself to the lifestyle and I learned it. You know? I mean, when I used to smoke the dope, I didn't really know how to hold it, felt retarded. Had somebody do that for a few times, and then I learned it. Became good at it. I'd like to believe that even with 12 years clean, that you could drop me off at any hood, any city on planet Earth, and I could find dope as long as it was there. That I could come up with, you know, I could integrate. I learned the way of the streets, if you will. How to, you know, interact with different people depending on who I was around and what I needed. It was a skill set that was a culture, if you will, that was developed and that was learned. You know, and most of us didn't see it as this like burdensome thing. It was like, dude, we got high for the first time, said, I'm about that life. I went all in on it and I learned it and you became good at it, no matter what your drug of choice was. And you learned how to operate, and you learned how to get whatever you wanted. And so now you realize that culture and that way of life, it ripped you off, it destroyed your life. And if you'll be honest about what it did to you, it embarrassed you, it humiliated you, it took everything from you. And now God is saying, hey, there is a new culture that is going to produce freedom, that is going to produce consistency, that is going to produce a life that you are able to be present in and be able to build. And you're going to have to learn it. Some of y'all knew it. Some of you knew it well, abandoned it through compromise, went back to the way of active addiction, and so now you're going to have to relearn it. You know, there's some good athletes in here. I mean, I can look around and see some genetics, probably some good basketball, some good football players, some tailbacks, some people in here that used to carry the rock, right? But I'm sure if it's been a good decade since you played competitive, you know, that if I put you out on a football field and handed the ball off, I mean, we might see a resemblance of what used to be, but it's going to be rusty. It's going to be rusty. I mean, some of y'all used to get 30, you know, every Thursday, Friday night, playing high school basketball. But if I give you that ball right now, we're going to say, hey, you said, probably not going to get 30 tonight. I see something there that looked like a jump shot, but until you go back and get the reps again and redevelop that it's not going to fully be there. And it's certainly not going to be a weapon that can be used. I mean, if I pulled you down where we're running fives over there at LA Fitness and you come out there and I can say like, hey, I can see a glimmer of what used to be, but right now you a liability. And that's what's going on right here. Some of y'all intellectually know, I'm not going to say anything tonight like, God is good. And you don't have to continue to burn down your life anymore. I mean, none of y'all are going to be like, oh my God, why did anybody not tell me that I don't have to keep getting high? Like, that's not some new concept. I mean, you're not about to hear anything here that you've never heard before, but what you are going to have to do is re-embrace the culture. You know? Just like if you decided to leave here and go get high tonight, you're not going to grab a police officer and go back and see your dope man. Does that make sense? I mean, it's just ridiculous. But you think that you're going to get the new way of life, bringing your dope culture up in here. You don't get to oscillate between both. You got to choose a team. Like, who are you going to be? You want to keep doing dope? Want to keep burning your life down? Fine, go do that. But don't try to mix the two. It's one or the other. I mean, some of these examples might seem elementary. They might almost seem offensive that they're so stupid, but that's the reality of what we're trying to do. Like, who are you? The worship music's going on. You're like, oh man, I want to change my life. And then your stinking seat hadn't even got warm yet. You're back out there in the car, and the second that the driver, puts it on 103.3, you're ready to sell dope again. Seat ain't even got cold yet. You don't know who you are. You don't even know. You're just oscillating back and forth. You have no clue. It's just, and you think like, when you hear it like that, and this is real, like this isn't even hyperbole. Like this isn't me like trying to make some big dramatic, big point right now for you to understand it. This is real life. This is real, like tonight, you being here, I think I want to go work in recovery. I wonder if GoodLanding give me a job. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, I want to call a dope man and see what he's doing. I miss him. It's his birthday. I want to see if Johnny got popped. I knew it was real hot over there before I left. So crazy. Let's just check and see what's going on. It's crazy. All right. Addiction is sneaky. I mean, I'm just showing you of like, if you want to look at it, we're in Georgia, okay? Primarily UGA fans in here, probably some Tech, maybe a few Florida. See? Nobody's waking up on Saturday with this grand dilemma of walking and opening up your drawer and being like, dude, man, am I wearing red and black today or am I wearing gold? Like, man, this is just, I don't even know what to do. And you're going back and forth like you know what team that you represent. You're not confused. I'm from Mississippi, State and Ole Miss, okay? There is a perfect hatred. Like whichever one that I've watched families split up over it, over nothing, over a football team, over a degree that the other one doesn't even offer. Mississippi State doesn't offer a law school. Mississippi State doesn't offer a medical school. But you watch a kid that'll choose a school based on that, and then the family is like, dude, I have disowned you. Those are the wrong colors. Over something like that, but you're not confused on who you're going to pull for. But I look at some of y'all, and I'm like, man, I can't ever tell what team you're on. I don't know, can I count on you? Can I call you and get some good advice, or are you going to tell me to go get high? In the same way, it's always like proximity is your cheat code, right? There's good recovery in here. There's people that have done some incredible stuff. Christy's built one of the largest sober living programs probably on the planet. Okay? Help more people than she'll ever be able to remember. Change more lives than she'll ever be able to even comprehend or remember, and stuff that'll happen that, she didn't even know that's changing generations. And if you want to learn how to do something like that, proximity is your cheat code, right? But guess what? You're not going to get close to her, and you're not going to get close to me if you don't add value to my life. So in the same way, because I promise you, if you're hanging out with me, you ain't getting high. If you're hanging out with me, you are going to get challenged. You are going to get better. You are going to make more money. You are going to be more driven just by getting around me. But at the same time, if you get around me and you're dragging me down, then I am going to put distance between me and you. So you got to figure out not only who you're going to get close to, but if you're going to be able to add value to that person as well. Do you understand that? So you got to be, I don't know what drives you. Most of you, it's probably relationships. Like you're just thinking like, oh man, I just can't wait, man. Can't wait to get get a relationship. I just want to be loved. I just want somebody to love me. And it feels good to be loved. God hardwired that design of marriage on the inside of us. But if you don't get healthy, you will ruin it. Do you understand that? I mean, it might ruin even if you're healthy. But it's certainly going to ruin if you're not healthy. You don't even have a fighting chance. I mean, so whatever type of why that you've got to figure out, you know, maybe you're not even on this whole train of like, man, I can't wait to go out and change the world and see everybody else get clean. Maybe you just want to be in a healthy relationship. Well, guess who's got to get healthy so that you attract somebody else that's healthy? You think you're going to run around acting like a lunatic and like get some awesome guy? You know, I hear guys all the time, well, got to get me a church girl. Like, bro, like, ain't no church girl gonna have nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, soon, even if you did sneak in there and like get one to like you, I mean, like, all you're gonna do is burn it down anyway unless you get transformed. Ain't no girl gonna fix you. You know what I'm saying? You know how many girls you try to save me back in the day? You know what I'm saying? They got problems. You know what I'm saying? They want to go fix the bad boy, right? Ain't no fixing the bad boy. The bad boy's got to get fixed so that there can be a value add and that they can build something healthy. This whole Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, she going to show up and, you know, first of all, she don't want to be saved. Project Pat told y'all that, right? He don't want to be saved. Don't nobody want to be saved like that. Ain't no missionary dating or any of that kind of stuff, okay? Me and Whit used to listen to that back in the day. So, I'm trying to tap into something that you want in the future, whatever that is. Make money. Whatever. Yes, I want you to get closer to God, and you need all of that stuff. But if you are going to be present in your own life, it should bother you that you're sitting on the sideline watching life pass you by, and you've actually never even participated in it. You know what I'm saying? You've been functioning at 10%, 20%. Going to work, getting high, whatever it might be, and you've never been able to figure out, can you imagine if you had a solid decade of being sober, of showing up every day at your best? There's going to be highs and lows. There's going to be things that don't go your way. But if you will be consistent in those details and showing up and giving your best, you will look back and be proud of the life that you built. But you cannot do that unless you beat this monster of addiction, okay? Here's the deal. I just watched Alexander the Great last night. I've been really fascinated with leaders. I feel like I'm a student of leadership. And it's interesting to me. You know, I watched, what's his face, Napoleon the other night, back when France used to run stuff. And I watched, now they got Louis Vuitton. They don't run nothing. And I watched, you know, this leader, and though it may have a Hollywood spin on it, it's fascinating to me to figure out what drove these individuals. What was their rise to power? How did they conquer the known world? It said that Alexander the Great, watched it last night, at 25 years old, he conquered Persia, took it over. From Mesopotamia, that he goes over, that he conquers Persia, and then by the time that he is 32 years old, that he had conquered the known world. At 25 years old, the guy had conquered the greatest, longest, ancient empire, that went in with great military strategy and conquered Persia. And then at 32 years old, there's no forensics. There certainly wasn't anybody doing autopsies or anything like that. But historians say that he was an alcoholic, and alcoholism is what killed him at 32 years old. He conquered the known world, but could not conquer himself. Could not conquer his own soul. How many of y'all can relate to that? Look, there ain't no shortage of grind in this room, okay? Because a lot of times, man, we're like, oh, man, I'm a drug addict. Everybody thinks we're lazy, bro. Like, let me tell you something, dog. You ain't lazy, okay? Anybody that can get high and stay high 24/7, you ain't nothing but straight grind. You know, and half of y'all did it with no money. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it took is whatever it took. Singleness of focus, purpose. I'm not like promoting. I know some of the moms back there are looking at me like, what's he talking about? Like, I'm not promoting the lifestyle, but what I want you to understand, for you to do what you did, the creativity that it took, the drive that it took, You know, I mean, you didn't just sit there in bed and be like, oh man, I hope the dope man decides to stop by here today. No, you went out and got that stuff. You went out and chased it down, did whatever it took, made 700 phone calls, waited, manipulated, whatever you had to do to make sure that you got what you needed that day. You know what that's called? That's called grind. I'll build a freaking empire with that. Okay? Do you understand that? I will build a freaking empire with that type of drive and with that type of grind. But you've got to get it redirected under the power of the Holy Spirit to be able to go and do it. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's where you keep it over there and it's just women and dope, then you know what I'm saying? Then you're going to end back up in Good Landing again or dead or whatever it is. It's got to be directed in the right spot. But that's grind. Like, do not get that confused. I mean, I don't care. You go out there and look on Skid Row. I mean, those dudes probably ain't seen a nickel and somehow figure out how to stay high and get high all day long. In the brokest area on the planet. So, understand, Alexander the Great was able to conquer and do so many other things, but he could not conquer his own soul. These 90 days that you've been given are for you to learn how to conquer your own soul. That's what we got to figure out. That's what we've got to be able to overcome. That's what we've got to learn how to make sure. You know, Dave Ramsey is one of the experts, thought leaders on money. And he's saying this is why you got to get in control of your money so that you tell your money what to do and your money doesn't tell you what to do. Because when you're in debt up to your eyeballs, you might think that you have freedom, but you don't have freedom. Because the borrower is slave to the lender. So if you don't get your addiction and you don't get your impulses and you don't get your soul under control, then you are always going to be a slave to your addiction. So right now, these next 90 days, it's all about freedom. It's all about liberation. It is all about you being able to take back control. And do you know what it's like to have the power of choice? Do you know how awesome it is that whenever I wake up in the morning that I get to choose? Am I going to take my kids to school? Am I going to go to the gym? Am I going to show up to work and not being a slave to wherever the dope man is at? Of being like, oh man, I got to go over here and I got to do that. You don't have all these intentions, but you never actually go and do anything important because you are a slave to your own impulses and your own addictions. That's not how you want to live. You want to get that freedom back and you want to get that choice back. Alexander the Great, undefeated in battle, king of the known world, dies at 32 years old, likely because of alcoholism. How do we conquer our own lives? Step one, we are powerless. That is why it starts off this way. We are powerless over our addiction, and our lives had become unmanageable. Unmanageability, there's different degrees of it. You don't have to go to prison 14 times to realize that you're unmanageable. Maybe you said something atrocious to one of your children one night under the influence, and that was what it took. Maybe it was whenever your daughter said, you're not going to have your grandchildren in the car anymore because I can't trust that you're going to be sober behind the wheel. Maybe that was the level of unmanageability. Maybe that was the burn that it took. Maybe it was a health report. Whatever it might be, that you realize that you have become unmanageable, that your life had gotten out of control, and that you're going to need a power greater than yourself to be able to restore you. I mean, think about whenever Paul was saying, man, why do I do these things that I don't want to do? Like, I know better. I know better. I know not to do that, but yet there is some type of impulse and desire in me that overcomes that. I mean, ultimately what Paul is saying is that he was an addict. There was something there that he was trying not to do, but yet he could not do it. I know that pain. You know, some people only struggle with, food or whatever it might be that doesn't destroy their lives like you and I get our lives destroyed. And that's why I think this thing is really a gift in so many ways. I don't like being an addict. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Guys, I hate it. I hate that you're dealing with it. I hate it, man. It's not fair. None of y'all asked for this stuff. Anybody, Ask the doctor if they could genetically mutate you so that you would be addicted to alcohol. Anybody want to take that pill? You know? Nobody sat there and it's like, dude, I want to be a dope fiend. I want to be an alcoholic. I want to be, whatever that. None of us asked for that stuff. And I hate with every fiber of my being that you were in the situation that you were in. I hate it for your families. I hate it for you. I know the tears. I know the pain. I know what it's like to be in a situation where your parents are driving you to rehab and they had all these hopes and dreams and aspirations for you, and you're sitting over there and you can't even make anything coherent come out of your mouth, and you're aware of that at the same time that they're trying to ask you basic questions and you can't even give them a straight answer. I know what it's like whenever you've told so many stinking lies, you don't even know what the truth is anymore. You stay mad and you stay offended so that it makes you feel good about the life that you're doing when in reality it's your own freaking fault. I know what that pain is like. But I also know that there is a way of freedom, that there is a way out of this. And I hate so badly that we are in the situation that we are in, and there is nothing that I can do to change that, and there's nothing that you can do to change that. Like, we're here. And you either face this monster head on or you die. And I want to use all different types of different colorful language right now to try to explain this point. But for the sake of the church, and probably just because I shouldn't do it, that you would be able to get the weight and the reality of the situation that you're in. That crap that I talk about on the bison, the buffalo, whatever, I mean, that's real. Like, you face this storm, or you spend more time in the storm, or the storm kills you. That's it, man. That's it. You know what's going to happen? A few people on social media are going to throw up a rest in peace. A couple people are going to show up at your funeral and probably lie. And that's it, man. Your family's going to parade in looking like $1 million. They've been preparing for this for a decade. It's still going to hit them hard. And everybody's going to move on. And you had your moment. And you've probably been hit with some type of reality like I'm saying to you right now 1 million times. Most of this in your first rodeo. I mean, I've seen a lot of you come in and out of this same program right here a lot. But this is your chance. This is another gift that you've been given right now to be able to go and do something different. I mean, how many more times you want to go? Like, there's no escaping this thing. I mean, you think you can get out there and, get a good 6-month run in you? Maybe. I mean, if the stars align and just, I don't even know how that happens. Dude, I stayed clean one time for 5 years. 5 years. I was in the best shape of my life. Going to the gym every day, going up to the Air Force Base, in shape, making money. I went back out after 5 years clean. And before I even went to bed, I was back in full-blown psychosis looking out the window at crap that wasn't even there. I'm like, can I not get 24 hours? Can I not just go back to when I was 18 years old just for 24 hours and let me have one good night? It's over. There ain't no more fun left. It's over. All you alcoholics, you'll be peeing on the carpet tonight. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the worst, okay? You know what I'm saying? Fin addicts. That blows my mind worse than, you'll overdose, we'll Narcan you, bring you back to life for the 700th time, and I'll be like, oh man, this is the time that Willie's gonna listen. I'm like, Willie, Willie, not only does he not wanna listen, not only does he not want to get clean, not only does he want some more dope, he wants the same dope that put him in the grave. He wants to go back and find, it's insanity. Why would you want to go back to that? Why would you want to go back to that? Why? You have the ability right now to overcome this monster that has destroyed your life, that has caused all this damage in your life. You realize that God is a good father. Step 3, that we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him, okay? that does not mean that God is Mr. Potato Head and you get to make him up, as so many of these groups decide that that's what it's okay, all right? I'm not saying you are where you are, and I'm not trying to come in here and put some theological burden on top of you with rules and regulations. But what it doesn't mean is that God is Mr. Potato Head and you're like, oh, I get to break this and this and this, and I put together this little thing right here, and because, I'm the, liberal thinker at the local meeting, that I get to come up with some wild crap, because at the end of the day, when it all hits the fan, you need the real thing. I've talked about this before. Anybody here bought cut dope? Didn't you love that night? Wasn't that one of your favorite nights of getting high ever? You just get to pretend. You just get to pretend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here and I'm doing cuts. And this is not real dope. It is not doing the job. I mean, were you happy about that? No, you weren't happy about that. So why in the world, when it's God that can change your situation, that can come in and intervene? Some people are like, I pray because it does more for me. Oh, okay, you little hippie. All right. I pray because God's real and he actually comes in and intervenes and changes things. Okay? Not because I go through some seance exercise to change me on the inside. Yes, that's a byproduct of it, and that probably will help. But when I pray, dear God, intervene in these drug addicts' lives and save them and take away that obsession for dope, that I believe that he's going to do it. Do you understand that? That's not like me, praying that so that I become more okay and have more peace in my own life. God, help me in this situation. Help me overcome these external threats in my life. Help me to defeat the enemy. I believe that it will actually help. But you know what I'm not going to pray to is some crazy thing that me and Mick Goofball in the local 12-step meeting came up with one night. We were blowed out on coffee at Starbucks. Okay? That's what I'm not going to do. I don't care what the moron with the blue hair has to say, and that he's sponsoring 14 people that don't know which way's up or down. Okay? So, get something real. In the same way you don't want cut dope, you don't want some watered-down version of God. Okay? He's revealed himself as who he is and what his ways are. He's a person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not going to come and talk to me any old way. I don't have some staff member come to me and be like, here's how it's going to be, Trey. I'm like, no, here's how it's going to be. You go find another job. But we're going to talk to God any old way, like, all right, the big man upstairs, like, are you kidding me? He is the 100% owner, CEO. He has no board of directors of the entire world. And you just think like he's some punk? Like you just going to just talk to him like he's just, hey, big man, about a little help? How about a little help? I mean, look, we've been making fun of everything. We've been out there getting high. Nothing's off limits. There's got to be things that are sacred in your life, like this treatment experience that you're in. Like God, like the things of God. Like your family. Like you need to reinstitute in your life things that are sacred. Like I'm not going to make fun of everything. I'm not going to make fun of the things of God. Somebody's got their hands up in worship just because you've never done that. You're going to sit back there on the back row and make fun of them? What about those verses that say, hold up holy hands? What about the one that God looks down there and his heart is moved by that act of faith and he said, that's going to be the one that I'm going to move on? And you're back there in the peanut gallery making fun of everything spiritual, and that's the thing that's moving God. Maybe you back there with your chronic cool disease ought to be up here at the altar on your stinking face begging God to move in your life and restore your family and restore your son. But you're back there, still living like it's 1988, and you're in perpetual cool mode. It's crazy. You can't save your face and your butt at the same time. Okay? There's your old school recovery saying, can't save your face and your butt at the same time. Some of y'all need y'all's butts saved right now. Some of y'all are looking at some serious stuff that's going on in your life right now, and it's do or die, and either you get it right, well, that's it. And a lot of y'all don't know if this is your last shot. You have no idea. I mean, some of us can look around the room and be like, oh man, he's been around for a while. You know, he better take it seriously. What about the 22-year-old that looks like $1 million? First treatment center. I ain't gonna take it seriously just yet. Want to take a guess on how many funerals I've done like that? I mean, you have no idea. You might have 10 treatment centers left in you. Might have a couple more marriages left in you. Some of y'all, this is it. This many people in the room, and I'm not just, you know, trying to make a heavy point. I mean, this is real life. I mean, some of y'all will look to the left and look to the right and just see that if you don't take this seriously, there'll be a lot of people in this room right now that will enter into a premature grave. And it will be premature, and that will not be God's plan, and God don't need you because you're some strong warrior that he needs up there in heaven and all the other crap that people come up with whenever somebody dies because they're an idiot. You died because you're an idiot. Period. And you did not take this season seriously. And nobody's going to say that at your funeral. We'll say something totally different. He was a good man. I know he's in heaven. Heaven? Really? Okay. You know. So, it's 5:35. You know, some of y'all are like, man, don't speak for me. I'm ready to go. Oh, vape burning a hole in my pocket. I'll let y'all hit the vape right now. We'd probably be good for another hour, but I don't know. I want you. I'll turn my back for a second. I don't know. We'll have to come in here and fog this place after we get out. We'll pay for that. But seriously, I'm obviously wanting to reach you. I'm wanting you to understand that there is purpose for your life. There is a plan for your life, that you don't have to go the way that you've always gone. You have the ability to be able to choose. And for some of you, it is going to take the ripping of the e-brake and that type of activity to be able to stop that. You know, some of you are going to enter into this thing easier, and then some of you are going to have to put in, you know, you're more hell-bent, as they like to say, than some of us. You know, that your tendencies are more destructive, and you're going to have to put things in around you to be able to support you. But I just want you to understand that that he really does love you, and he loves prodigals. He loves screw-ups like us. I don't know why, but that's not me. That's theology. He put the story of the prodigal son in the Bible, that he knew that it would reach 2,000 years beyond that story into 2026, and to show a bunch of prodigals and a bunch of gangsters and dope fiends and, you know what I'm saying, and all the other stuff that we are in here, that I love you and that there is a plan for your life that is great and good. That is why that is the most taught, most famous parable in all of Scripture. You know, these other people that think, oh man, I've got love coined, love wins, and No. I'm telling you, Jesus was the one going after the prodigal before the world ever thought about it. When the whole world was saying people like us need to be judged, people like us need to be put in straitjackets, people like us need to be put in padded rooms, and God is saying, man, I can change that person's heart, give them new desires, and he's been going after people like us for thousands of years. He loves taking people like us and raising us up. Dude, I am the last person on planet Earth that has the pedigree outside of all the relapses and dope that I've done and things that I've screwed up and families that I've screwed up. I am the last person that is qualified to be up here and talk to you tonight. But God will look down. I don't know why he looks down. I know how I hire. You know, when I'm looking for somebody to hire, I'm looking for somebody that is super competent, that works, that has no tendencies to go and get high, that has so far, and God will look down at the CEO, and right now, you don't even know it, that he'll look down and be like, dude, I'm building with that one right there. That one right there, that his mama won't even answer his stinking phone calls. He's like, that's the one right there. That's the one. That's the one that I'm getting ready to raise up and go build whatever else that I'm getting ready to go and build. It's amazing on how he does that. It's amazing, and that should give us good hope, but he is going to do it as we submit to his ways. Okay? Not that I'm going to do that with that knucklehead right there while he keeps his knuckleheaded tendencies and continues his own ways. And all his pride and all his arrogance and all her nonsense and all her, you know, whatever it is, like, he's going to reinvent you. He is going to make sure that you are fully possessed by him. That's how that's going to work. And he'll deal with, you know, you're not looking for perfection. I mean, but you know what I'm talking about. So he puts a story in there, the prodigal son. I mean, when you think about it, you know, in some ways it's kind of Hollywood. You know, the prodigal son goes out, he spends it on harlots and hookers and prodigal living and all the stuff, right? And he shows back up and he's broke and he's ran out of money and the dad loves him and brings him back and throws a party. Okay? Love that story. All right? But here's the reality of the prodigal son. Okay? He probably got syphilis. Okay? He's probably got HPV. He's probably got all kinds of stuff. Okay? He's been out there with the hookers. He's probably got psychosis. You know, I mean, he needs a nurse practitioner. He needs a therapist. He needs an accountability group. So the next time that he gets mad at his stinking dad, that he doesn't run back off again, or this time steal from his dad. You know, and so there's this beautiful picture of us in this room tonight, and as the worship team comes back up, and as you respond to that and say, man, I am that prodigal, and God sees that and he's moved by that, but then there is a work of transformation that's going to take place. And that's what this whole program is about. Guys, do you know how badly that I just wish that I could be like, hey, you know, thanks for coming to Good Landing. It's a 24-hour program. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Just say no. You know, Nancy Reagan came up in the 80s on her Just Say No campaign. I mean, that's precious, Nancy, but, you know, I had no idea that I could just tell my drug dealer no, and this would all fix it. You know, I mean, like, the deal is like, yes, you need to be empowered that you can actually tell those knuckleheads no, but you've got to be transformed so that you don't go back and keep saying yes to the wrong things. That's what all this is about, to be transformed so that you don't stay in this cycle of just getting beat up and going back and doing the same stuff. There is nothing more frustrating than watching that. There's nothing more frustrating than participating in that. But you have got to take this season of your life seriously. So, get a therapist. Good, you've got one. If you're here, you've been assigned one. Use your therapist. This is where it's going to get real practical. Take your life seriously. It's life or take your life seriously. Dude, think about your issues. Like, if I am getting ready to go and see a therapist today, and just because your insurance is covering it, they ain't cheap, okay? They got education coming out their ears, okay? Think about what it is that you want to overcome while you're here. Dealt with anxiety, dealt with depression, you know, got massive resentments because of trauma in your life, been sexually abused, sexually assaulted. I probably wouldn't go in there and talk about, you know, something that is just trivial. This is your life. Do you know how fast 90 days goes by? I mean, fast. Fast. Like, if you will give yourself to this process, and the transformation that can take place over 90 days will absolutely blow your mind. that you can be completely reinvented, almost unrecognizable to those that knew you right before you came into Good Landing, except maybe some type of physical resemblance. People right now that don't trust you to drive their car or even get in their car without them being there looking over your shoulder, start calling and asking you for spiritual advice. What should I do about my son? Can you come talk to my daughter? It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm off social media right now. When I pull social media back up or when I pull Messenger back up, I promise you, the messages that'll come through that are looking for help, that won't help. You know how many degrees that I got? How many medical schools I've been to? How many master's level therapist programs I've completed? Zero. Big fat zero. So right now that you might be an outcast or somebody that's been ostracized from your own community, could go back and be the spiritual leader. That you'll find yourself on stages like this sharing your story of God's transforming love. Don't get prideful in those moments, but I promise you they're coming. Get you a group of friends to hold you accountable. I mean, they are here inside of this. I know that some of y'all aren't that serious about this thing yet. Hopefully you will be after tonight. Dude, take this seriously. Go and find 3, 4, 5 people that you can count on for good information and surround yourself with those people while you're here. It'll change your life. It will literally change your life. You tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. That's just not just something, dumb that grandma said. That is for real. I don't care if you're 80 years old or you're 12 years old. You tell me who your friends are, I will tell you who you are. It's a mindset. And intentions don't equal impact. I remember whenever I was 16 years old, I went on this Christian camp. It's called Chrysalis. It's through the Methodist Church. They have another one called Emmaus, a college one called Crossroads, and I went through it. And I got touched deeply by God at 16 years old. And I came back with CDs. I threw away all my bad CDs. Told my girlfriend, it's all about purity, and we're going to do it, and that's how we're going to do it, right? And I lasted about 5 days. 5 days. I had the best of intentions. I wanted a different life. Literally threw the CD. I'm a broke little 16-year-old throwing my CDs out the window, my Bone Thugs, throwing all that out the window because I wanted a different life, and I did not make it 5 days. Intention doesn't equal impact. You've got to build the systems. You've got to go and handpick the people who are in here. I mean, I'm going down here, if I got admitted in this program today and I knew that my family was on the line and I knew that my children wanted to see their mom, I knew their children wanted to come back and see dad again, I promise you, I can find 5 of y'all in here that are for real that I'm going to pull around me to make dang sure that I get to the other side. That's what this season has to look like. That's your responsibility. I can get up here and preach until I stink and have a heart attack and you can't even see my blood vessels about to blow out of my temples right now when I'm yelling up here because it's hot. But I could do this all day long, but until you decide to take the action to build the system, then you won't see the impact and you won't see the outcome. It all starts with a commitment to God. We talked about some of y'all that deal with chronic coldness. Can't save your face and your butt at the same time. Is there anything magical about this wood and this building material up here? Probably not. Definitely not. But it's a point of faith. I'm not trying to, it doesn't do me any favors. I'm gonna walk off the stage before this thing fills up anyway. It doesn't do me any favors or whatever. This is 100% for you. Good Landing's going to be here whether you respond or you don't respond. Whether you take this seriously or you don't take it seriously. This is for you. Telling the truth is for you. It ain't for me. It's for you. This whole idea of God, I ain't counting salvations. I ain't sending it out to a list of donors to try to get some money or whatever. This is 100% for you. This is you and your future. This is you and your children. This is you and your job. This is you and your money. This is you and all the hopes and dreams that you've got. That's what all this thing is about. This altar is open for you to do business with God, to get up out of that seat and to say, God, I want something different. I am going to commit my life to you. And I know it's not going to be perfect. Look, it'll take you 60 minutes hanging out with me to figure out, like, I'm just some dude that decided to believe God. And I punched somebody in the mouth like 2 weeks ago. True story. I'm not like, I love God, and I am a knucklehead, man. And he chooses to work with me. And that's what he's looking for, man. That is what he's looking for, just a willing heart to say, man, I just want something different. All right, these altars are open, man. I love y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. We love you, Lord. God, have your way, God. Bless these tonight.